Hi everyone. I'm going to do something with the mesh again. And at one of my subscriber suggestions, I'm going to try putting it on top and pouring through it just to see what happens. And I'm only going to do this in 2 colors just for fun and see what I come up with. I'm just going to do a natural color and then a darker color. And I haven't even determined yet exactly. I was going to do black and white, but I'm not sure on that, so I may play around with this a bit. Right now I'm just getting, that's why I decided I'm only going to do a 1 pound mold. Since this is more of just an experiment and style, it's still going to be goat milk, of course, and wonderful bison tallow in my soap. It's going to be a great little soap, just 1 pound, but I didn't want to make a great big loaf because, well, I usually end up just giving those away in grab bags anyway, but, and this one I'll probably do the same with, but I just didn't want to make a large loaf. And so I'm just getting my goat milk melted. It's almost ready. And I am going to add in just a little bit. This can be like any loaf that I make. It's still going to have the kaolin, clay, and oats in it. The difference is going to be in the oils I used are a little bit different here. I've got, of course, the coconut oils. I always have olive oil, but I've also added, yes, it's got shea butter and cocoa butter, but I've also added some hazelnut oil. I've not used hazelnut in soap before, and I did a little research on it, and it's got a couple of great little attributes to it. Whether or not those come through in soap, I'm not sure, but I just wanted to see how it turns out. I worked the formulation in a way that I think will work well, but I've not used it before, so I want to see if it brings anything out in the soap. And I'm going to fragrance this with just some herbs, some herbal essential oils. Basil will be one of the main ones, a bit of sage, and maybe some citrus such as orange. And that's really it. Okay, so my goat milk is now completely melted here. Now I'm going to add in my oatmeal and my kaolin. So there is my kaolin and my colloidal oats added into my wonderful goat milk. All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you all about is I spoke to my nephew. I did that last video on mentioned the DNA results and the confusion, and so I got in touch with my nephew, and we did talk. He called me actually today, and we discussed. My brother had actually done a test, a DNA test, which has not been matched to mine, oddly enough. So he's going to do some research into what his total results were, and so I can compare those with what I have, with the information I have, and hopefully figure out just what happened here. Because I partly suspect that this is a mistake of the ancestry, at least in regard to the new mother connection that it made, matriarchal, because it says that there was a large percentage that she was possibly a matriarch, but then it says, or possibly a second cousin, which is very confusing. Well, who is this person? And they're also in the other part of the country from where I was born, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I have reached out to that company for some information as well, and it could be that I believe it's called the mitochondrial results need to be redone, and you can redo your own DNA tests, or the other person can, and there can be errors that happen. For instance, I wasn't aware of this. If someone has had a transfusion, a blood transfusion, or they are on certain cancer medications or chemo, that can affect the DNA results. I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know, or I'd heard this before, but I didn't make that kind of connection. All right. So anyway, that's all. I'll talk about that right now. All is well. I'm past the stress point that I was on the other day. It was just a shock when I saw that, but now I'm thinking it's something resolvable, and I'll let you know as I find out more information. All right. So now I'm going to get my oils, and I'm going to put this together, and we're going to make something wonderful. We're having some crazy weather here. Earlier there were tornado watches and then tornado warnings and high winds, but right now it's just thunder and a bit of rain, so most of it passed, which is a good thing. All right. So I'm adding in my goat milk. This has got the kaolin clay and the colloidal oats in it as well. All right, so I'm going to hit this a bit with the stick. And I decided to go with dark green. This is spirulina, a little spinach, dried spinach powder, and a little bit of activated charcoal to keep it dark. And I'm just going to put just the natural in the other one. So I'm just going to split these up evenly. And it smells fantastic. You know, lemongrass is just one of my favorites. What do you think of it? I think it's just terrific. You'll hear some thunder there in the background. I just love the sound of thunder. I know that there are people out there that are afraid of thunder, and I feel bad for folks like that because I think they're missing out on the enjoyment of nature. And that is part of nature. Okay, I'm going to hit this with the stick here just a bit to... So here goes. Just going to give that a little scrape and make sure all that colorant is mixed. So now I'm going to pour in a little of the green first. So this doesn't really matter. I have no idea how this is going to work or if it'll make any difference at all. I don't think that's really going to do much. I don't know. We'll see. I think there's the trick, is to let it just drip a bit. This isn't getting the look I thought it would. These holes are a little too big for doing it this way, but it's fun. It's fun to be messy and try different things sometimes. So this is getting, we'll get an interesting pattern, but it's certainly not going to be this kind of fishnetty pattern because, well, you see why. It's not being pulled through, it's just kind of dripping off from the intersection, so to speak. All right. Now we wait. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it as close as I can right down the middle. This isn't exact because this is all for fun anyway. But I'm gonna cut it in half-ish. And then see what we've got here. Actually, let me trim that off there. Set that aside. You know what what I think? I think that's all we're gonna get her, like some polka dots. I actually like this pattern, I think, better. Let's just see. Okay, now there is some activated charcoal that didn't get well assimilated. A chunk. Again, there's that black in there. Well, yeah, these aren't going to be even. I'm cutting them all sorts of different ways. Well, it's different. I'm going to play with what's interesting, more interesting to me, is that I got this neat gray effect. Let's see. Oh, let me pull it back here where you can see them better. It's more gray, certainly, than green. And that's spirulina. Oftentimes spirulina will do that, and especially because I added in the activated charcoal. So the colors aren't going to be as distinct as they would have been otherwise, but there it is. It was just something to do. I just felt like I wanted to make something. This does give me an idea, and I love getting new ideas from old ones, from experiments and fails and things. You sometimes can come up with some fun ideas. Anyway, so thank you all so very much. It was a lot of fun playing with this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.